All right, please be seated. State's next witness.
Gino Black.
Face the clerk and raise your right hand.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. Have a seat, sir. Close to that.
Sir, would you please tell us your name and spell your last name just for the court report?
GL Black, BLACK,
By whom are you employed?
Vanderbilt University.
In what capacity?
Currently, I'm an Associate Dean of Students
How long have you been with Vanderbilt University?
for a little over 5 years.
Okay. And were you working in that capacity back in the month of June 2013?
In June 2013, I was an Assistant Dean and the Director of Student Conduct and Academic Integrity.
Right. Now, just for the sake of the record, is Vanderbilt University located here in Nashville, Davidson County, Tennessee?
Yes.
And for people who may not be overly familiar with Nashville, where is it in relation to, let's say, the courthouse, where we are?
It is in more of the Midtown area of Nashville.
All right. And is Vanderbilt a public or private institution?
It's a private institution.
Approximately how many students are enrolled undergraduate in, say, 2013?
About 6,000 undergraduate students.
Okay. Now, in the month of June, is school in session, as in a regular session?
Not a regular semester. We have a summer session.
Okay. And if you know approximately how many undergraduate students are normally or would be there in like a summer session, June 2013?
That I don't know.
All right. Is it more or less than the fall or?
It is less than a regular semester, much less.
Okay. And again, if you know, are some of the facilities shut down in the summer, some dorms?
Yes, we have only a few residence halls that are operational in the summer.
Okay. And do any of your duties involve inspecting or going into any of those residential halls, dormitories?
No.
All right. And again, you've told us your position, but what in June of 2013 did that position involve?
Generally speaking, my office was responsible for reviewing and resolving student violations of university policy, both academic and non-academic misconduct.
All right. And do those cover a wide gamut, or are they very narrowly tailored to Vanderbilt?
It's under the university's policy, so under the Student Code of Conduct.
Okay. Would that include, just give the jury an idea, if you have traffic tickets?
No, not typically. So academic misconduct being plagiarism, cheating on an exam, and then non-academic misconduct, which could be alcohol or other drugs, vandalism, property damage, things like that.
Oh, okay. And how normally are those types of situations brought to your attention?
We receive reports on a routine, regular basis from different entities on campus, and then evaluate how to move forward with the students involved.
Okay. And is this something you do individually, or is there an office?
There's an office that ranges in terms of staffing from 3 to 5 or 6 people, depending on open positions and things of that nature.
All right. And in June of 2013, was a situation brought to your attention involving, among others, a young man named Brandon Vandenburg?
Yes.
When were you first, and again, don't tell us what somebody may have told you about it, but when were you first made aware of Brandon Vandenburg and vis-a-vis your job?
I don't know specifically of Brandon Vandenburg, but I was made aware of some video footage on Monday, late afternoon, Monday, June 24th.
All right. And it's a late afternoon. Do you have any?
At 4:30 approximately.
Okay. Let me jump ahead here. Did you see any of the video footage?
Yes.
And where did you view that?
I viewed that in my office on my computer.
pursuant to your position with the university, do you have access to the system
Yes.
on your computer?
Yes.
Okay. And do you know what the system is called?
No. They installed a player on my computer.
Okay, so where you just go to the icon, click on it,
That's right.
all right. And do you recall on the afternoon of June 24th, that Monday afternoon, what you recall seeing?
There were a few video clips that had been pulled that showed a woman who appeared to be incapacitated in some way being carried into a residence hall by several males.
Okay. At the time you viewed that on that Monday afternoon, did you know any of these individuals to recognize them by name or by sight?
No.
Okay. Did you recognize the dormitory, the residence hall?
Yes, that had been identified as part of the video review.
Okay. Is that part of the software
Yes.
telling you where it's coming from?
Right. Yes.
Okay. So when you watched this, were you by yourself? Were there other...
I was by myself.
Right. I want to ask this. Pursuant to your duties, your job with Vanderbilt University, is that any type of law enforcement position?
No.
Okay. In other words, are you a Vanderbilt University police officer, detective, anything of that nature?
No.
Have you ever worked in law enforcement?
No.
Okay. Or had any training in law enforcement?
No.
Okay. So you watched the video. What, if any, steps or processes did you begin that Monday evening?
Monday evening, I just watched the video. I think it was even after close of business, and it wasn't really until the next day that any sort of next steps were taken.
Okay. Walk us through that then. We're moving on to, I guess it would be Tuesday the 25th.
Right.
Okay. With respect to what you had seen, what did you do?
I had some preliminary conversations with our Office of the General Counsel and some other folks in the Access and Security area in the Office of Housing and Residential Education, and we convened a group of people in the middle of the day to look at the video to try to help identify the students who, or people, I guess, we didn't know that they were all students at the time, on the video.
All right. And did that group involve any law enforcement officials?
No.
Did it involve any of the football administration or athletic department? Well, not sure. There is an athletic department per se, but any of the athletic officials?
Yes, David Williams, Candace Lee, and Kevin Colin from athletics were present at that meeting.
And with this community involvement or group of individuals, were any of the people able to be identified in that session, that meeting?
Yes, I think whoever had not been identified by the Access and Security team was subsequently identified by the athletics department staff.
Okay. And then with that knowledge in hand, what, if anything, did you do next?
We made arrangements for the students to come to our offices later that afternoon for some preliminary meetings to just to ask them some questions about the weekend.
Okay. And when you say arrangements were made, tell us about that. What do you mean by that?
Well, many of them were members of the football team, and they had a schedule for the summer, and so athletics determined, what time they would actually be available to come over, and that they would make arrangements for them to come over to our office at that time.
Okay, so the athletics people assisted you?
Yes.
Okay. And again, at that time, was there any Vanderbilt University police involvement, any Metro Nashville police involvement?
No.
In the afternoon of the Tuesday, June 25th, did some or all of the individuals that you were interested in speaking to come to see you?
Yes.
And where did they come?
They came to our offices, which at that time were located in the Zerfoss Student Health Center building on campus.
Could you spell that?
Yes, sorry, Zerfoss.
Okay. describe, if you could, what that room, building, suite, whatever it may be, is like.
We were in a hallway on the 4th floor of that building, just a long hallway with offices on each side of the hallway going down in an L shape.
Okay. And approximately how many individuals were asked or brought to you?
I believe it was 9.
Okay. And do you remember off the top of your head the names of those 9?
Brandon Vandenburg, Jaborian McKenzie, Brandon Banks, Cory Batey, Jacob Bernstein, Dylan Vanderwall, Chris Boyd, DeAndre Woods, and Mac Prillo.
Okay. Were they all in one room together, or tell us about that?
Yes, they were all in one room, a conference room style room that we had on the floor, and they all sat in there.
What, if any, process did you go through with respect to speaking to these individuals?
We called them one by one to meet individually with them to ask them questions about the weekend.
Okay. Did you have any preset order in which they were to be called?
No, I don't remember the exact order of how we called them. I know that Brandon Vandenburg, Jaborian McKenzie, Brandon Banks, and Cory Batey were the last 4, but I don't recall the exact order.
So as far as the sequence of the 9, they would have been 6, 7, 8, or 9.
Right. Correct.
And with respect to Mr. Brandon Vandenburg, do you see that individual here in the courtroom today?
Yes.
Could you indicate which person he is, perhaps by identifying where he's sitting and what he may be wearing?
Yes. He's over against the far wall in a V-neck sweater.
Now, I ask the record to reflect that he has indicated the defendant, Mr. Vandenburg. Now, with respect to Mr. Vandenburg, was he interviewed by himself in the presence of one or more of the other students, or how did that go about?
No, individually.
All right. Were you recording these interviews?
Yes.
And was Mr. Vandenberg's interview recorded?
Yes.
What, if anything, did you do prior to conducting a taped interview?
We essentially called them one by one to meet with them individually and told them that we wanted to ask them some questions to gather some information about some events that had occurred over the weekend, and asked them to answer the questions to the extent that they were able, and then we turned on the recorder and went through a series of questions.
Okay, I want to ask specifically with Mr. Vandenberg, but whether it may or may not apply to all the rest of them. But in speaking with Mr. Vandenberg, did you tell him anything that you had seen on the video?
Prior to
speaking with him. In other words, did you sit him down and say, hey, here's what I've seen?
No.
Okay. Counsel has a copy of this. Go ahead, and if I could have a copy passed up.
See that far away.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's the handwritten.
I've got plenty of copies. Hard for me to see closer up than that.
Thank you.
You've been handed a copy of the document. You recognize that?
Yes.
Okay. And what does that appear to be?
In addition to talking with the students, we asked them to write a written statement, and this is the statement that Brandon Vandenburg wrote.
In the sequence, was that before or after the taped interview?
That was after.
Okay. So I'm going to set that aside, but if you could just hold on to that.
Okay.
Do you recall, sir, any particulars about Mr. Vandenberg from that day, and about what time of the day it was? We know it was Tuesday the 25th, but...
I believe they arrived at our offices around 5 p.m.
Okay. Do you remember anything particular about his appearance, demeanor, actions, anything?
Nothing in particular.
Okay. And again, not being law enforcement, was he there by any means other than as a student?
No.
Okay. And Vanderbilt's policy and protocol?
Right, correct.
Okay. Next, if I could ask and I have several copies I'll pass out. This is and if I could ask this be passed to Mr. Black. Mr. Black, you referenced the interview being recorded, pardon me, and what you've been handed is do you recognize what you've been handed?
Yes.
Be telling you. What is that?
This is a transcript of the recording.
And by the recording?
The recording of the interview with Brandon Vandenburg.
Okay, Mr. Vandenberg's interview.
Yes.
And have you had the opportunity to listen to the actual recording, compare that with the transcript that you have before you?
Yes.
And is the transcript that you have before you a fair and accurate representation of what is contained on the actual video? I mean the audio, excuse me.
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, at this point, I would propose to play the recording, and I have prepared copies for the court reporter, additionals for counsel. Should be plenty for the jury. If I could ask those to be passed out with the court's usual admonitions.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you're receiving copies of the transcript of the recording. I want you to keep in mind that the transcript is just a guide for you to follow. The actual recording is the evidence itself. So always keep that in mind. The recording is the evidence. The transcript is simply a guide. All right? Thank you, Mr. Jones.
Yes, sir. Who is the administrator? Perhaps Ms. Halstead. So we have plenty of extras. Your Honor, I believe everyone has a copy now. With the court's permission, if I'd ask that it be played, I believe we have it set up to be played through the system.
Okay. We'll see.
This may be the first time.
Maybe.
Brandon Vandenburg, June 25th. So why don't you give me...
Whose voice is that?
That is my voice.
Okay. And the only reason I ask that is where it says VU, are you VU?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, I'm sorry.
An overview of your night on Saturday, June 22nd, starting maybe around dinner time.
I was at the dorms.
Okay. Is that Tin Roof? Do you know Tin Roof? Okay.
I met a girl there that I've seen a couple of times in the past couple of weeks.
Okay.
We ended up taking a cab back to the campus.
Okay.
And from there, we're both intoxicated and went to her dorm, her apartment.
Okay.
The village apartments.
Okay.
And tried to get in there, but her roommate wasn't there and she didn't have a key.
Okay.
And so she told me to call her roommate, so she gave me her roommate's number.
Okay.
Her phone was dead. And I called her roommate, she didn't answer. So we went back to my dorm to get in her dorm.
Okay.
And there, I was trying to help her in the dorm, and 3 guys helped me bring her in my dorm room.
Okay.
And then from there, she was like throwing up and stuff, and I was throwing up, and left her in the dorm room on the bed. I went to Dylan Vanderbilt's room to spend the night because I didn't want to sleep in there with her to throw up. Just it was a mess.
Okay. Okay, so do you know what time you went to Tin Roof about?
Maybe 11 11.
Okay. And had you been drinking? 11 or midnight? Okay.
Yeah.
And had you been drinking before you left for Tin Roof? Okay. And where were you drinking beforehand?
It's some apartments.
Okay, not on campus.
No.
Okay.
But I don't know like the name or anything.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Okay, so how many drinks would you say you had before you got to Tin Roof? Okay. And were you drinking beer or mixed drinks? Tequila. Shots or mixed with something? Shots. Okay. And you got to Tin Roof 11 midnight, and what did you have to drink when you were at Tin Roof?
Drinks, I don't know what it was.
But then, hard liquor drinks? Okay.
Yeah, I don't remember the name.
Okay. Did you take or use any other kind of substances on Saturday night? Okay. No drugs or anything? Okay. Okay, and so was it planned that you were going to meet the young woman at Tin Roof, or was that just by chance that you were both there?
Well, yeah, it was planned. She wanted to come to the apartment with me beforehand to like hang out and get together, but I just met her there.
Okay. And so that's Elizabeth, right?
Yeah.
Okay. How long were you at Tin Roof?
I don't know a definite time, to be honest.
A couple hours?
I could be approximated.
Okay. So then you could head back to build at Vanderbilt, which is where Elizabeth lives, but you couldn't get into her apartment. So then how did you get to Gillette?
I called her roommate.
Okay.
At first I called her roommate.
But she didn't answer.
Yeah.
Okay. So then you guys drove. But you drove. Okay. And was
She was very,
coherent?
yeah,
Okay.
she wasn't that stuff.
She was still talking until you got to Gillette? Okay. So then you pull up into the Gillette Circle, and like you said, some other people came out to the car for you to get her out of the car. And at that point, it seems like she was maybe passed out.
Yeah, she wasn't passed out, but she needed help walking.
Okay.
Definitely.
Okay. So you guys carried her, into Gillette, and then where's your room?
213.
213. Okay. And who's your roommate? Okay. Okay. So when you get into Gillette, and you take her to your room, is that where you went? Okay.
Yeah, correct.
Okay. And the other guys that were helping you carry her were Cory, Tip, and the other Brandon, right? Okay. Elizabeth had to drink? Okay. But she was drinking. Right. And she was drinking at Tin Roof.
Yeah.
Okay. And did you buy her any drinks? Okay. So she was just drinking on her own there. Okay. Okay. How long have you known? Since you got here, or?
A couple weeks.
Okay, so once you got to Gillette and you took her and you went directly to your room, then what happened after that?
The guys that helped me, they dropped her and I asked them what we should do. I told them, or I explained that I'm going to leave. Well, first my roommate left. And then they left. They and my roommate left at the same time. And then I left 5 minutes later.
Okay.
I go to sleep in downstairs.
Okay. Did you take any photographs? Okay. Did anyone else take any photos? Or?
Not that
once you got her to your room, where was she at that point in time? You carried her there, right? Okay. And so did you put her?
She was going up on the floor, and then she slept right up, and I put her on the bed. And I'm not sure, she probably threw her on the bed or something. That I believe she was. So.
Okay. And you said you threw up as well?
Yeah.
Did you throw up in your room or in the bathroom?
On the way there, when we were by the storm.
Oh, you had thrown up previously. Okay. Okay. On Saturday night, did you make, aside from carrying her into Gillette, did you make physical contact with Elizabeth with your hands, mouth, your genitals? Okay. And did you have any form of intercourse with her, oral, vaginal, or anal?
Not Saturday night, no.
Okay.
The next day she came over. And yes.
On Sunday?
Yeah.
Okay, what time on Sunday?
Like 6:30.
Okay.
6 o'clock.
Okay. And did you expose her genitals or your own at any point while she was in your room?
Saturday?
Yeah. No. Okay. Did you witness anyone else? Not Cory or Ted?
No.
Okay. And did you witness them having exposing her genitals or their genitals? Okay.
Not that
Okay. Okay. Brandon Vandenburg, part 2. Okay. So, can you tell me why you covered up the security camera in the hallway, Gillette?
To be honest, I wasn't thinking clearly.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a girl passed out in my room.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't think it was the best image, I guess.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, there's no reason to.
Is there a reason that you chose to cover up that camera? I mean, obviously there are cameras throughout the building.
Yeah. Yeah, I have no idea, to be honest.
Okay. And if she was in your room already, I guess I'm just wondering what you were concerned about.
Yeah, no, wasn't really thinking about it.
Okay. So there's also a point in time when you bring a chair into the hallway. Do you know? It's like a wooden chair. Do you remember that at all?
Wooden chair.
Yeah, it's like a light wood kind of chair with sort of metal legs. Do you remember doing that at all?
I really have no idea.
Okay.
From where?
From a room. You pulled a chair out into the hallway and set it. I don't know if it was from your room or just from another room that you pulled a chair into the hallway.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Okay. Okay. You left in Dylan's room, and he lives where?
East House.
East House. Okay. And so where?
My room, unless she moved.
Okay.
I texted her in the morning, and she said that she was slept in my bed, and then she left.
Okay. And while she was in your room, did you give her any like water or food or anything?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I had water there, so I'm sure I might have had water or something.
Okay. And Did she sleep in her clothes?
Yeah, she was in her clothes.
Okay. And do you know what time she left?
To be honest, I came back. I don't know, 9 o'clock, and she wasn't there.
Okay. Do you know how she left? Or like with whom?
She told me the next day she went into Jake's room. That's not correct. And then she took her car.
Took her car back with you?
She took her, yeah.
Okay.
Pretty sure.
Okay. Okay, when you guys got back in the room, did you change your clothes?
Did I?
Yeah.
I think I changed it to pajamas, just my shorts.
Like gym shorts?
Yeah.
Okay. So then there's another point at which several other people come sort of to your room, to like Chris Boyd and Michael Retta and DeAndre Woods and Dylan. Do you remember when they arrived at Gillette?
Honestly, I don't remember them coming in my room.
Okay. But you said you left with Dylan to go back to East, right?
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
Yes, I did, but I don't remember all of them coming back to my room.
Okay. Did you call Chris Boyd or text him and ask him to come over to help you with a drunk person?
I called Dylan.
You called Dylan?
Yeah.
Okay. So, do you know if did Dylan call Chris maybe, or?
I don't know. I know they live right next to each other.
Okay.
But I don't know, to be honest.
Okay.
I didn't ask him about it. He just said, I'll meet you so you can go to my dorm because I can't get into their dorm without them.
Right.
So.
Okay. So if you called Dylan to ask him for help, and then he came over, and then how did he assist with the situation?
He helped me put her into her bed, or my bed, and just like come sleep in my room, dude.
Okay.
So.
Okay. And you don't remember Chris Boyd being there at that point in time?
No.
Or DeAndre
I don't
Woods?
remember DeAndre or Greta.
Okay.
Maybe Greta, there is a black person there. I don't remember.
Okay.
So.
Okay. So I want to go back to before you called Dylan and before those guys were over there, and it was just you and Cory and Tip and the other Brandon. So at that point in time,
She was strong.
okay. And at some point, did she stop throwing up? And was she passed out on the floor in your room?
She looked like her. She was awake. She just wasn't talking.
Okay.
Very coherent, I guess.
Okay. Did Cory Batey and did Tip McKenzie have sex with? Elevator when you guys were bringing her up?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. And Brandon Banks?
I don't think so. Honestly, I can't remember. I don't have any photos on my phone or anything. I don't think I took a picture of her by the elevator.
Okay. Okay. And when you saw her on Sunday, did she say anything about Saturday night or anything that had happened?
She just said sorry that she messed up my room and that she was sloppy, she said. And then other than that, no, she just came over and wanted to hang out for an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours.
Okay. Have you talked to her since then?
Yeah, I texted her yesterday.
Okay. So you know nothing about a video of Cory or Brandon Banks Jr.
Okay, I think that's the end of it. Your Honor, I would tender the CD and a copy of the transcript as the next related exhibit, I believe number 5.
I think so.
Judge, I don't know if the court wants to take up the transcripts now, or will there be any cross-examination, whether they would need to have them or not. Sometimes the court takes them up now, other times at the end of the
Yeah, I would recommend the court take them up.
All right.
Okay. I believe we're ready to move on. I believe, Mr. Black, interview, you had each individual write out a statement. Is that correct?
Yes, that's right.
And did Mr. Vandenburg do that as well?
Yes.
And as we previously discussed, is that a copy of it before you?
Yes.
And Judge, if we can, without too much difficulty, switch back over. It's very
Well,
brief.
Mr. McGee can work that out, yes.
So instead of trying to pass out copies, it'd be easier just to look this up.
Should take just a second.
There we go.
Not the best image, but Mr. Black, could you just read that into the record?
Sure. I went to the bar.
Well, start at the very top.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh.
verbatim.
Okay. Brandon Vandenburg, 62513. I went to the bar, met up with a girl that I had been seeing, tried to go back to her room, but she did not have her key. So we went back to my room with the assistance of a few people. At that point, the people who helped me left, and then I left to sleep at a friend's house. The next day, that girl came over around 6 p.m. or so, and we had unprotected intercourse. And then it's signed at the bottom.
Your Honor, I would tender a copy of this. It's the next number, exhibit number 6.
All right, number 6.
After June 25th, 2013, did you take any other statement from Mr. Vandenburg or have any other contact with him in regards to this incident?
I met with him once more on the Friday evening of that week to place him on an interim suspension from the university.
Okay. And was that the last?
That was the last time that I interacted with him, yes.
Those are my questions, Your Honor.
All right, cross-examination.
Your Honor, please, brief out.